Hey guys, this is Rene, welcome back for another video. Today I want to show you how to create a position size calculator. So I created the program already, but we will code it together in this video just to show you real quick what you can expect. Like this, the position size calculator, it will create two horizontal lines in the chart that you can then adjust. For example, you can say I want to have the entry here, I want to have my exit down here. And then I say I want to have a risk of 2%, for example. Doesn't really matter, you can choose whatever you want. And then we can say send, and it will place an order. You can say this, or you can see this order is one lot. I don't know if this is a coincidence, but if I move the stop loss line here, we can see hopefully that the risk, it is around $250, which is rounded, I think, but on a balance of 12,400, this is around 2%. Let's show this in another chart where. So let us now start to code the program from scratch together. So if your MetaTrader 5 is open already, then we want to go to Tools, MetaQuartz Language Editor, or you can also click on IDE here to open the language editor where we create new programs. In the upper left corner, then we want to click on New, click on Next, and then choose a name, position size calculator, for example. You can choose any name you like, and then click on Next, Next, and Finish. And this creates a brand new expert advisor. We have a bunch of these comments and properties that we do not really need for this, so we will quickly delete them. But what we do need is we need some includes. We want to include some already existing files or classes in this case into our program. And these will be primarily the classes that we need to create all of the objects in the chart. So we have the chart objects here in the include folder on the left side in the navigator. So what we're going to do is we say hashtag include, and then we go to the chart objects folder. So now we are, so to say, in this folder, and here we want to have the chart object lines. So we go chart object lines.mqh, which is just this specific file here. So if we compile, you can see we cannot find this file, which means that I do have a typo somewhere, which is here, I think. And if I write it correctly, then we can include this file. Also, we want to include, and this is very important, so do not forget this, because otherwise it will not work later on. We also need some controls. So what we need is we need controls, and we want to have dialog, I think, .mqh. Then let's include button mqh, and also label controls, or not label but edit.mqh. And with this we are pretty much good to go. So first things first, we want to create two lines in the chart, horizontal lines, that help us to define the entry point and the stop loss of our position, because these are the both levels or things that we do need to create a order or a position and calculate the lot size. So what we want to do is we want to have C chart object H line, which is a horizontal line, and then we can name this entry line or line entry or whatever you want, H line entry. And we want to have C chart object H line stop loss. So we need these two lines. So if we compile it like this, the program, it is actually a working program, but it doesn't really do a lot. So if we go here to my MetaTrader, and if you compile it correctly by clicking on this compile button up here, then you should find the program in your MetaTrader 5 already. So I can go here and search for the position size calculator, and if I activate it on the chart, you can see I can activate it, but it doesn't really do a lot, so nothing's happening. And we can change this quickly in the onInit. We want to take our hline entry object and we want to say create, and this will create the object in the chart. So we say chart ID should be 0, which is then the same chart in which the expert advisor is activated, and then we need a name. And yeah, maybe let's create the names as defined here. So we can say name, hline entry, and the name could be entry line. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but hline exit line, and then I can now choose the name hline entry defined value here to define the name, and the window is also 0, and then we just have to provide a price. And here we can go with, yeah, and let's for now just say that we put it at the current ask price. So we can get symbol info double underscore symbol ask to get the current ask price for the symbol that we are looking at. And then of course we also want to have a hline SL and create this in the chart. Name hline exit, or should be SL, right? Not exit. I mean, not that it really matters, but yeah, just to keep the same naming everywhere. And then the price, and here we could go with ask minus 100 points. It doesn't matter so much. So if we compile this now, we can see the program now. It will create these lines, and they are 100 points apart from each other, which is not a lot here in US 30, but yeah, you get the idea. You can play around with these numbers. You can say 100 or 10,000 or whatever. So now the problem is we cannot move these lines. So this is what we kind of want to change, right? And now since we are using these classes here, it's very easy to change the properties. So we can say, wait, what can we actually say here? Type, style, shift, set integer, selectable. I think selectable should be true, which means that we can then select these lines. Or let's go with one line only to show the difference. So now the entry line is selectable. So you can see I can double click it, I can move it around, but the exit line here, or the stop loss line, is not editable. So I cannot, or selectable, I cannot select it and move it around. But yeah, as you already learned before, we can easily change this and make this also selectable. We can change more properties this way. So we can say entry line color. We want to change the color. We can say the entry color should be color blue, for example, and the exit color should be, or the stop loss color should be color red, whatever you want. We can change the size. Entry size, or is it width? Yeah, it's width. So we can go to 3, for example, for these lines. So you can see we can change all of these properties. And if you're wondering what properties you can change, if you write this little dot operator here after you write the name of the object variable, you get a preview of all of the functions pretty much. If you need more information, you can always go to the class itself. Just move your cursor inside of the class name here and press Alt and G on your keyboard. It will automatically open it. If you cannot do this for whatever reason, you can of course also go to the include folder on the left side and just go to chart object lines and open this file. And you will also find the H line in this specific file. And here you can see, yeah, all of the methods and functions, and you can also see the chart object class. And if you go to this class, you will see even more functions. And yeah, if you're very interested to learn more about this, just read in these files. But yeah, for this tutorial, we can now see that the color changed, the width changed, and we can drag these lines wherever we want them. So this helps us to change the placement of the stop loss and the entry. So we could, for example, say we want to have a stop order here at this temporary high, and the stop loss should be here at this low. And then yeah, we could set this order like this. But to be able to set the order, we need some more buttons, right? So what we want to have is, we want to have C app dialog, I think, which we can call dialog or app or whatever. And then we want to have C button, order, or send. I don't know, like the name is not really important. And then C edit, risk, like this, for example. If we compile, we can now go here and create this app. So again, the app also has a create class. We want to have a name for our app. So let's use the defines here again. Define name app dialog. We can say position size calculator. Then we want to have a name for our button send. We can say send button. I mean, these names, they just have to be unique in the chart, because otherwise you might have some issues. But it's not so important what these names actually are. Risk edit. Okay, so we have the defines. And of course you don't need these defines. This is just to make it, like for bigger projects, it can be helpful to define names like this, so you have a good overview. But I mean, you could also just type the name here, and that's would also be completely fine. So name app dialog, then we have sub window 0, x1. Now we have to place the window somewhere, and we have to define the size also of this window. So we can go 220, 220 to create a squared object here. And then app run is necessary to run the app, I think, or it will redraw the app on the chart. And yeah, you can see here we now have the position size calculator. What we want to do now is, like we want this position size calculator to interact with us. But now I try to drag it around, I try to push the buttons here, but nothing really happens. So to make this work, we need the on chart event function. And yeah, let's have a look at the reference here, which you can open by clicking F1 on your keyboard. Let's just copy these lines. And then yeah, that's kind of fine. And here we want to say app chart event and pass the ID, the L parameter, the D parameter, and the S parameter from the on chart event function. We can compile this, and now we can see we can move this around. So where's my program position size calculator? Don't know why it was deactivated, but now yeah, you can see we can just move this around, and it is more smoothly now. And we have multiple position size calculators. If I change the time frame, this is because I will create a new position size calculator app window or app dialog every time the on init function is fired, but I do not deinitialize the old one in the on dinit, and we can do so by just destroying the old app in the on dinit before we create a new app. So this is important, because then if you change your time frame position size calculator, you can see now we don't have multiple of these app dialogs, just one. Okay, so in this app dialog, we now want to put our button and our edit, right? So we can easily do so by saying edit risk, create. We want to create it in the current chart again. We want to choose the name of our edit, sub window 0. And then we say x1, epsilon 1, x2, and epsilon 2, which are the coordinates. So here we can just go with 0, 0, 100. Wait, how do we do? Let's just use the full width, which would be 200 minus 8. And here we go 100 minus, is it minus 8? -4. Yeah, this is just playing around with the pixels that we need for the edit. Yeah, you can play around with this, make it bigger or smaller, and this -8 is just because we have to respect the borders, and I think it is 2 times 2 pixels on both sides, which makes 8. So then we want to say add, and then we can add the edit control here to our app. And if we compile now, it should look like this, where we do have this beautiful and actually kind of big edit. Yeah, I think this is a little bit too big. Let's make it smaller. Let's make it maybe only 50 pixels high. So if we do it like this, it looks like this now. And then we want to have the button. Actually, we don't really need such a big dialog here. I think 170 would be totally fine. Okay, so let's create the button. Button send create, same procedure. Name button send 0. Oh no, we cannot use 0, but we can use subpoint was 0. Then x coordinate is 0. Epsilon should be something like 55, for example. And then we have x2, which is 200 minus 8 again. And then we have epsilon 2, which would be 150 minus 4, I think. I hope I don't mess up these coordinates. Button send, but it should kind of fill out the rest of the space here. I think it filled out a little bit too much. So wait, let's do 120 to just see how it looks. Yeah, now we have a button. This is fine. And with these objects in the chart, we pretty much have everything we need already. So we can place the entry price, the stop loss price. We can add the risk here, like 1.5%, for example, and we can press the button. We can always make this look more sexy, of course. We could say a button send text send. For example, we can say button send color, color red or color yellow, like whatever you want. And oh, this will actually change the color of the text. So what we maybe also want to do is button send color background, which will change the actual button color. And you can just choose like any color here. And there you go. This is a beautiful application. Yeah, it's not beautiful, but you can style it however you want. This is not something I have to do in this tutorial. So, but what we want to do is we want to check now in the chart event function. We want to check if, like we want to react to the button click, right? So what we can do is we can check if ID is equal to chart event object click, which means that an object was clicked, and then we want to check if sparam is equal to button send name, because this means that the button was clicked, and we can add a print statement here to figure out if we called the event correctly. We can say send button was clicked, something like this. And if we compile and test this real quick, we can go to the expert journal here or log, and we can see the send button was clicked is printed whenever the send button was clicked. Okay, so what we want to do now is if the send button was clicked, we first of all want to get the risk for our trade. So let's say risk percent should be string to double, because it is a string value or text value that we get from this edit here, and we want to turn it into a double value, a number, so we can actually work with it. So we go edit risk text, and this will give us the risk in percent. So it is now stored in this variable. Now we want to get the prices, like entry price, which is H line entry price. Then we want to get the exit price, which is H line SL price. Oh, let's call it SL price. And yeah, these are all of the values that we need. Now we need to calculate the lot size, right? So what we have to do is what we want to do is we want to get the actual ticks here. Yeah, let's get the tick size for the symbol info double symbol tick trade tick size like this. Then we want to get the tick value symbol info double symbol trade tick value, and now we want to get the actual ticks. So this will be entry price minus, this should be an absolute number, math absolute, entry price minus SL price, and then divided by the tick size. And this should be a integer value like this. And then we can calculate the risk per lot, which will be ticks multiplied with tick value like this. And then we need to calculate the actual risk that we want to take. Let's do it here. Risk money, for example, which would be account info double account balance multiplied with risk percent divided by 100. So last step is actually just taking the risk money, dividing it by the to get the lots, we have to take risk money divided by risk per lot, and this should kind of give us the lot size. Of course, we want to round this, normalize double lots 2, and yeah, I mean, this is a pretty basic approach. There might be some symbols where you cannot trade like micro lots and stuff. Then you want to round it to like 1 precision after the decimal point, but all of these fine-tuning stuff is something you can do yourself. I just want to show the basic logic of how to create such a program. And then, since we have the lot size now, we want to send the order. Oh yeah, I forgot to edit to include one file here, which is the trade.mqh file, because this is what we need to send the orders easily. And also, when I compile, we can see some error messages here. For the price, we have to provide one parameter, I think, which is the point that we want to read. And for our H line, like every point is the same, pretty much. Like every point of the line has the same price, and it's just 0.0 that we can use here. Also, this looks a bit weird. I don't know why it looks like this, but yeah, I don't really mind. Okay, so now we can use our trade class here to create a trade object variable. And now we want to check if the entry price, let's also get the bid and ask here, right? Or the bid and symbol for double, symbol bid. This will give us the actual current price. And then we want to check if entry price. Do we also need the ask? Not sure at this point, but yeah, let's just get it. We want to say if entry price is greater than ask. In this case, we want to send a buy stop order, right? So we say trade buy stop with the lots that we just calculated, with the entry price, with the current chart symbol, with the stop loss price, with no TP. And this should be good until we cancel. And now expiration, and now comment. So actually we just don't need everything after this. Then also, if entry price is a below ask, then or if entry price is below bid, we want to say trade sell stop lots entry price symbol SL price, and in this case we send the sell stop order. And yeah, let's see how this works. Let's compile, go to our program, and now we have these lines. So let's rearrange the lines a bit. This is our entry line, this is our stop loss line. Let's put the stop loss, I don't know, here maybe, and then we want to risk 1% of the account, which is 120 euro here. So if I click sell, it will place the order, and the order is placed with 0.1 lot, and I have no idea if the calculation is correct here, but we can see cannot really read it because it's in this wait, let me change it to line chart, for example. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of working. So you can see if I drag along the SL, which is, by the way, not attached to the red line anymore. It's just used to place the order. But you can see the risk is indeed 120 US dollar, which is fine. So let me delete the order and let's change these lines a bit. So let's move the entry price below the current price and the stop loss above the current price. This will create a sell order now. So we go 0.1%, for example, of the count. And if I send, nothing happens, unfortunately. Invalid volume. Ah, okay. I just realized that I cannot trade 0.01 lots here, I think. But if I change it like this, now it should work. Yeah, like this, 0.5, send, and now we have 0.4 lots here, which is, let me get the stop loss and move it around, which is a risk of around 0.5%. Of course, this is not 100% accurate because we have to round and stuff, but yeah, this is how you can create a very basic position size calculator for stop orders. And now, if you're interested to learn more about this, a nice little project for you would be to adjust this. So you can have, for example, multiple buttons like a buy and a sell button to decide if you want to place a buy stop, a sell stop, buy limit, a sell limit. You could also include market orders and stuff. You can make this look more beautiful by changing the look of the of this app dialog or the look of the lines. So just play around with this. It's just the basic concept that I wanted to teach you here. Just a few lines of code to not overcomplicate things. And yeah, I will explain one last time before I let you change the code. So it is also, it includes everything that you personally want and need in this program. So we need to include a bunch of files so we can use it. Like, this is a very important step because all of these classes here, they are not like part of the actual MQL5 system functions, but they are defined in these classes. So if I delete the include files, nothing will work anymore. So this is very important. Do not forget this step. Then we define a bunch of names for the objects. And by the way, if we go to the object list here, you can see these are exactly the names that we now find here, like entry line, SL line, risk edit, send button, and stuff. Position size calc. These are the names that we defined here. And then afterwards, we created a bunch of global objects, which we need to create the actual chart objects or the visible objects here in our chart. And we start by creating the lines for the entry and the SL. This is very important to measure the distance between entry and SL, which is necessary to calculate the risk, of course. We create the app dialog. Then we create the edit and add it to the app dialog. Then we create the button for sending the orders and we add it to the app dialog. And then we run and create all of these, redraw the chart and stuff, create all of these objects in the chart. In the onDinit, we destroy the app. This is important if you always create the objects again in the onInit. If you forget this, it will kind of mess up your program. And in the on chart event function, we then first of all pass the chart event to the app, so we can actually like move around the app dialog and the chart and everything. And then this is the main part, I would say, of our program where the actual logic happens. We wait for a button click of the send button, which we check here by checking the S parameter. Then we get the risk in percent from the edit. Then we have the entry price, the SL price, which we get from the lines. Then we get the tick size and tick value just from the symbol that we use currently for this expert advisor. We calculate the risk amount in money and whatever your base currency for your account is. And then we get the ticks, which is the distance between entry price and SL price divided by the tick size. Then we calculate the risk per lot. So we just multiply the ticks with the tick value. Then we calculate the lot size by dividing risk money by risk per lot. We round everything so we don't have rounding issues. We get the ask and bid price, which we need to identify if we want to place a buy or a sell order. And then we just place a buy or sell order. Like we check if the entry price is above the ask price, we check, we place a buy stop order. If the entry price is below the bid price, we place a sell stop order. And what I mentioned before, if you want to have a buy and a sell button, you could, for example, check here if the buy or the sell button was clicked, and if it was the buy button, we place the buy stop order. But if the entry price is above the ask price and the sell button was clicked, then you want to place a sell limit order. So it's a small adjustment to the program, but it will give you a complete new feature, and it's a nice practice for you if you want to modify this program. And if you think that this programming tutorial was super complex and was too much for you, then you maybe need to have a look at the MT5 basics, and I created a complete course where you can learn all of this. Is linked in the video description below. Have a look if you are interested to learn everything about MetaTrader 5 programming that you need, like all of the basics, also variables, data structures, etc., etc. And then I hope that you can also create your programs in no time. Thanks for watching. I'm out, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.